and let us all do we can to build a better future.
I have said on this show that I want the 2024 election cycle to be hilarious, earth-shattering, and far better than what we've seen in 2016 and 2020. And before he passed away, my grandfather would say, hey, sometimes you get what you want. Everything comes in bunches, good and bad. Be careful what you wish for, but also focus on what you want to get. My grandfather's words were prophetic. Because last night, we all witnessed something. Not only a gut check to CNN, but the return of Donald Trump. Now, no, I made it very clear on this show. I am not a Democratic voter, and I'm sure as hell not a Republican voter. But last night, if you were a Republican voter or a diehard Trump supporter, you saw your boy come out swinging. Now, again, myself, Nick, and CJ, who are of Revolutionary Blackout Network, all three of us came down to the same conclusion. It's either one, Donald Trump decided to read a book and be very articulate and come out swinging. Two, he's got himself some campaign staffers that he actually listens to and trained him and coached him, and he actually listened, or he's always been like this and hiding from us, or all of the above. Something happened because CNN thought they had him in a trap, thought they got him, thought they were facing off against somebody that was a buffoon. And Trump came out swinging. And in this segment, we are going to be covering some of the highlights of last night's town hall. First video I'm pulling up is how Donald Trump came out swinging with the receipts for the most stressful event to ever affect the vote blue, no matter who's sycophants. That's right. Throughout the entire Biden-Harris administration, all we hear about is January 6th, January 6th, January 6th. So I was like, oh my God. Take your antidepressants and shut the hell up about January 6th. It was a clown show, and I've already expressed my opinions about what I think about January 6th. But Trump came with receipts. This video comes from Patriotic Babe. Well, she can't take my heart. But I will say this. Trump definitely pulled out the receipts from his heart.
President Trump, thank you for your time here tonight. We got a great crowd here in New Hampshire, a lot of voters with a lot of questions about what your 2024 term would look like, what another Trump term.
And little did we all know, Trump's thinking in his mind, and little did we all see, we are not prepared to see the massacre that was going to unfold on CNN.
Would look like. We'll get to the voters shortly, but your polls show that you are dominating the Republican race right now, but you are also under active federal investigation for trying to overturn the 2020 election results. Your first term ended with a deadly riot at the Capitol, and you still have not.
It was a clown show. That's what January 6th was. It was a clown show. Honestly, give me 10 good men, and I really could have done something there. Again, that one photo that really pissed. There's one photo from January 6th that just pisses me off. Somebody who was part of that event was in Nancy Pelosi's office, and the laptop was right there. You don't know what could have been on that thing, okay? Nancy Pelosi's doing a lot of insider trading. It's like that scene from Breaking Bad when Walter White is confronting Jesse, when they were doing that. Why am I forgetting the character's name? But the guy who owned the chicken franchise. You know, he's saying, like, you were in his house. You were in Nancy Pelosi's office. Her laptop was right there. Give me 10 good men. And we would expose so much corruption.
Not publicly acknowledged the 2020 election results. Why should Americans put you back in the White House?
Because we did fantastically. We got 12 million more votes than we had in, as you know, in 2016. I actually say we did far better in that election. Got the most that anybody's ever gotten as a sitting president of the United States. I think that when you look at that result and when you look at what happened during that election, unless you're a very stupid person, you see what happens. A lot of the people in this audience, and maybe a couple that don't, but most people understand what happened. That was a rigged election, and it's a shame that we had to go through it. It's very bad for our country. All over the world, they looked at it. And they saw exactly what everyone else saw. You look, even if you just look recently with the 51 intelligence agents, that made a 16-point difference. If you look at the FBI, if you look at the FBI and Twitter, they call it Twitter files, made a big.
Shout out to Matt Taibbi and everyone else who exposed the Twitter files. If you're not following Matt Taibbi's work, please do so.
Difference. If you look at
Mr. President, back to what you just said there, though, it was not a rigged election. It was not a stolen election. You and your supporters lost more than 60 court cases on the election. It's been nearly 2.5 years. Can you publicly acknowledge that you did lose the 2020 election?
Let me just go on. If you look at True the Vote, they found millions of votes on camera, on government cameras, where they were stuffing ballot boxes. So with all of that, I think it's a shame that what happened. I think it's a very sad thing for our country. I think it's a very sad thing, frankly, for the world, because if you look at what's gone to our country has gone to hell. Our borders are bad. Our military has been bad. You look at the taxes, you look at inflation, what's happened to inflation. It's just destroying our country.
And here's the thing. Everything that Trump is saying, I hate to say it, folks, is on point. Look, we don't have election integrity in this country. Also, I want to make it very clear when it comes down to the fact that inflation is on the rise. We have economic instability and so much more. And the thing is, the Biden-Harris administration have still continued on a lot of Trump's foreign and domestic policies. Folks, the kids are still in cages. But what's funny right here is how Trump pulls out the receipts, because again, CNN, oh, Kaitlan, you just keep on bringing up January 6th. They can't let it go. Again, this is CNN's most highest rated show.
Back to what happened on that day.
You said you weren't. Say that.
He has testified that, Mr.
He
President.
did not say that.
But you said you weren't very involved that day. You did tell your supporters to come to Washington. You tweeted about it, about that speech that happened on the rally.
Am I allowed to say that?
When they went to the Capitol and they were breaking into the Capitol, smashing windows, injuring police officers, why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me.
Right here. This is how you know CNN set up poor Kaitlan. She wasn't ready. She just wasn't ready. Trump pulls out the receipts. Again, just right here. We're going to rewind it again. Like I said, folks, this is going to be an epic show.
Officers, why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out.
He has to pull it out, folks. He's pulling it out. He's whipping it out.
So
I love it.
On January 5th, the day before, I said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. Stay peaceful. This was the day before, and this was in the form of Twitter. Now use Truth Social. I think it's far superior. Okay. I hope everybody's on.
He's going to plug in Truth Social on a CNN town hall. Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. Did you miss Trump? A type 1 if you miss stuff like this. A type 2 if like, no, I demand politicians to be boring and serious all the time.
I hope everybody's on Truth. If you look January 6th, just at before 2:30, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. This is right after, as it was happening. But what happened is they took it down. I don't know why. I think they took it down because it was so good. They didn't like it being up there. I am asking, and we didn't know until I got it back, because now I have 90 million people waiting for me to go back, but I'm on Truth and I'm staying.
He's on Truth. He's not going back to Twitter. Oh, poor Elon. Hey, Trump, come on, do us a favor. Just send out a tweet like you used to do back in the day. People will love it. They'll eat it up, man. They'll eat it up.
Staying on Truth. Listen, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violation. We want no violation. We want no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. That was at 2:30. That was very early.
Mr. President, I looked at the same timeline that you did.
No, I know, but you didn't report that. You know why? Because it was taken down.
We did report it. I was reporting that day.
It was taken down and it wasn't.
But when it was clear.
Again, they were not ready. They were not ready for Trump to come out of swinging. They were not ready for Trump to start hitting people with the truth. And the thing is about Donald Trump, and especially throughout this entire town hall, He came here prepared. He was ready for what CNN was going to throw at him. I want to pull up another video here. And this is probably a huge takeaway. And it is in regards towards what happened in the war in Ukraine. Now, obviously, Trump is not a peacemaker. Both parties are warmongers. The DNC and RNC are intertwined with the military-industrial complex and big oil. But look at how he answers this question about the war in Ukraine. And I don't care if you're a diehard Democratic voter, Republican voter, or you're indifferent to politics. There's no way you could feel comfortable with the fact that the United States has been sending billions upon billions upon billions of dollars to this war. Just so you all know, those that are watching, that before the war happened, as the tanks were getting close to the border, what did our also fantastic Democratic and Republican lawmakers do in the Senate and House? As soon as that information was brought to their attention, did they A, quickly rally the Senate and House so they could have the Biden-Harris administration start setting up diplomatic negotiations to prevent a war? Or B, that our also fantastic senators and House representatives in the Democratic and Republican parties start calling in all their brokers so they could start selling and making a killing in bonds and stocks and profit off the war? The answer is B, follow unusual whales, and you'll find your also favorite senator or House representative in the Democratic or Republican Party making a killing last year, making a lot of killing and insider trading. So I want to pull up this video from Ukraine. If you're not ready, check it out because, folks, it is insane just how crazy and how on point Donald Trump is. Let's play this first video here.
Would you give Ukraine weapons
I was
and funding?
impeached by a crazy woman named Nancy Pelosi.
But the question here is, would you give Ukraine weapons and funding if you were
I would
elected?
sit down. Let me just put it a nicer way. If I'm president, I will have that war settled in one day, 24 hours.
How would you settle that war in one day?
Because I'll meet with Putin. I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have weaknesses and they both have strengths. And within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over. It'll be absolutely over.
Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I
played this video out of order. I am so sorry for that, folks. Here, let me play it because this is how the question was first brought up. It was brought up by a voter, actually. So let's go ahead and bring up this tab first. Apologies.
The current administration has made it clear that we should continue to provide military equipment to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves. Do you support this decision? And how would you deal with the increasing threat posed by Vladimir Putin?
First of all, thank you very much. It's really nice. And it's an important question, so important, because we're giving away so much equipment. We don't have ammunition for ourselves right now. We don't have ammunition for ourselves. We're giving away so much. But here's the thing. I have to say it to start off. No longer matters. If I were president, this would have never happened. And even the Democrats admit that. Putin knew it would have never happened. And his pipeline would have never happened. A lot of things would have never happened. But this would never have happened. And all those dead people, both Russian and Ukrainian, they wouldn't be dead today. And all those cities that are blown up and disintegrated right to the ground, that wouldn't have happened. Okay, now, here's the problem. We've given so far 171.
By the way, I've been seeing headlines where CNN is falsely saying Trump does not want Ukraine to win. To be very clear, his words are, he wants people to stop dying. We'll be playing that video, but Trump wants the war to stop. I want the war to stop, and I'm not a Democrat, and I'm not a Republican. I want the war to stop because there's so much waste. Waste! Billions of dollars going into this war, and it could have been stopped. It should have been stopped. But the Biden-Harris administration refused to take the social correct choice, and that is to end the war. But the Democrats and the Republicans in the House and Senate love war profiteering, as does the Biden-Harris administration.
$1 billion. They've given, meaning European Union, which is approximately the same size altogether as our economy. They've given about 20. So we're at 170, let's say, and they're at 20. You don't have to know too much about history to realize, or geography, to realize that they're a little bit more affected than we are, okay? So they've got to put up a lot more money. because they're taking advantage of us like every other country did. That's why I ended NAFTA and replaced it with the USMCA, Mexico,
But on
Canada.
this issue, Mr. President, I should know, I don't know any Democrats who have said they don't believe Putin would have invaded if you were president. But her question is, would you continue to give Ukraine money and weapons if you're elected? What's the answer?
I have a very good relationship with President Zelensky because, as you know, he backed me up with the phony impeachment hoax #1 when he said the president didn't do anything wrong. So
that was
I
when you
happened to
asked
like.
him for an
So
investigation
I happened
in
to
exchange
like.
for
Yeah, that's right.
weapons.
And I was totally exonerated, by the way. Just a waste of time and money.
You were impeached over that. You were impeached over that. But let's stay on
Okay,
topic.
and again, here she is talking about impeachment. All right, just so you all know, because there's going to be some brain dead idiots who are going to be saying Trump got impeached. No, first of all, everyone needs to calm the hell down about Trump being impeached, okay? Because yeah, he was impeached, but the Senate's the jury. Doesn't matter. One big nothing burger. I mean, for all those vote blue, no matter who mentally challenged people, you wasted everyone's time trying to impeach Trump. And in all reality, the Senate and House could have really gotten him on the emoluments clause, but then that would also indict a couple other senators and House representatives. And let's face it, all of our politicians are professional criminals, thugs, and puppets. That's who they are.
Would you give Ukraine weapons
I was
and funding?
impeached by a crazy woman named Nancy
But the
Pelosi.
question here is, would you give Ukraine weapons and funding if you were
I would
elected?
sit down. Let me just put it a nicer way. If I'm president, I will have that war settled in 1 day, 24 hours.
How would you settle that war in 1 day?
Because I'll meet with Putin, I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have weaknesses and they both have strengths. And within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over. It'll be absolutely
Do you
over.
want Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people and breaking down this country.
Which is something I agree with. Now, I don't know how truly authentic Trump is because it's the same Donald Trump who, again, was called presidential by the big brain people of MSNBC, who said, hey, Trump finally looks official and presidential because he's launching those big, beautiful rockets into Syria. I do hope he truly is being authentic. But again, both parties and every single president, be it Democrat or Republican, have been intertwined with the military-industrial complex. So, yes, Trump is saying some words we agree with, but that's as far as I'm willing to go. But he's correct. You got to stop the people from dying, and that's what needs to be done. These are things I agree with, and I'm voting independent and third party in 2024.
Now,
What do you? Can I just follow up on that? You
but
said
one
you
of the
don't
things
think
you
in
have
terms
to
of
do
winning
is you have
and
to get
losing.
you have
Mr.
to get
President, can I
Europe.
just follow up on that because that's a really important
Excuse me,
statement
let me
that you
just
just
follow
made
up.
there. Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
And this is where, again, CNN is using this. Listen to these words.
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying. Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
No one else is saying this. No one else is saying this. I want people to stop dying. I want people to stop dying. That's something I agree with. I don't hear Marianne Williamson talking about that. If you check out her interview that she did on Revolution Blackout Network, hell, she has got the same policy as Joe Biden. Oh, Democrats, CNN, you weren't ready for the slaughter.
What do you? Can I just follow up on that? You
But
said
one
you
of the
don't
things
think
you
in
have
terms
to
of
do is
winning
you
and
have to get
losing.
you have
Mr.
to get
President, can I
Europe.
just follow up on that because that's a really important
Excuse me,
statement
let me
that you
just
just
follow
made
up.
there. Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying. Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
But you won't say that you want Ukraine to win. You
You
said
know what
when
I'll
you were-
say?
Hey, listen, Kaitlan, look, I love you. You're going to be my future ex-wife. But listen, what does a Ukrainian victory look like? Someone in my live stream chat, I apologize. I see a lot of people who are joining in right now. Someone wrote in my live stream chat, Kaitlan, CNN, Democrats, what does Ukraine victory look like? Zelensky sitting in the throne in the Kremlin? Is that what it looks like? What does absolute victory look like? How's this war going to, end? What is the end game? What does final victory look like, CNN? That's something Trump should have pushed back at her. I mean, what does a victory look like? How much you want to bet she would say, freedom for Ukraine? Like, okay, whatever. Seriously, he wants people to stop dying. I think we all can agree with that. Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. Let's go ahead. Let's have democracy in the chat because we don't have democracy here in America. Type 3 if you just want the war to end. I don't care who you are on the political spectrum. You just want the billions of dollars to stop going to the military-industrial complex, and you want the war to end. Type 3. Type 4 if you're like, oh, no, I trust our corporate overlords. I trust the media to tell me the truth. The war can keep on going. It doesn't bother me. Inflation? There is no inflation. I love getting it up the wazoo.
Hey, I'll say this. I want Europe to put up more money because they're in for 20 billion. We're in for 170, and they should be, and they should equalize. They have plenty of money. They should equalize. I got with NATO.
But
when I sat down, I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars that they weren't paying under Obama and Bush and all of these other presidents. That's why they're able to help them fight the war because of the money I got. But I want Europe. What's
happening in Ukraine?
I want Europe to put up more money.
She keeps on interrupting him. Look, this is show running 101. When I have guests on my show, be they libertarians, Greens, socialists, activists, other independent media commentators, etc., I let my guests speak. Gallon, this is not how you do it. You lose control. You lose control. You lose control of the show because you can't stop a showman like Trump. I mean, come on. Trump's been in show business for a long time there, my lovelies. You can't out-Trump the Trump.
Because they're laughing at us. They think we're a bunch of jerks. We're spending $170 billion for faraway land, and they're right next door to that land, and they're in for 20. I don't think so.
When it comes to what's...
Again, CNN, you just weren't ready for this smoke. Now, here's something else that's going to probably trigger AOC. Again, not only was Kaitlan and CNN or all the people there maybe close to Kaitlan where they had to deal with Donald Trump, they were in an ocean, a wide ocean of Trump supporters. Kaitlan was alone. Oh, my future ex-wife. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Listen to how Donald Trump says he would pardon the people from January 6th. This, I had to laugh at.
My question to you is, will you pardon the January 6th rioters who were convicted of federal offenses?
I am inclined to pardon many of them. I can't say for every single one because a couple of them probably they got out of control. But, you know, when you look at Antifa, what they've done to Portland, and if you look at Antifa, look at what they've done to Minneapolis and so many other places. Look at what they did to.
By the way, where is Antifa at? I haven't seen them in a long time. They're around. Where you at? Just like all those activists and social justice warriors. Remember all those people said they'd be storming the streets if we ever lost Roe v. Wade under Trump? We lost Roe v. Wade under Biden. Well done, Democrats. After this town hall, it is official, in my opinion, that Donald Trump is clearly the main front runner, not only in the Republican primary, but in a matchup between him and Joe Biden. Someone in the live stream chat, I'm going to apologize if I don't got your name, but they said, just imagine Biden in this town hall. How often has Biden done a press conference? How often has Biden been speaking to the people for more than just a few minutes? Imagine Biden speaking for an hour, 2 hours. It'd be an embarrassment. This is truth.
Seattle and BLM. Many people were killed. These people, I'm not trying to justify anything, but you have two standards of justice in this country. And what they've done, and I love that question, because what they've done to so many people is nothing. And then what they've done to these people, they've persecuted these people. And yeah, my answer is I am most likely, if I get in, I will most likely, I would say it will be a large portion of them. You know, they did and it'll be very early on. And they're living in hell right now.
So when it comes
they're
to
living
pardons,
in hell. and they're policemen, and they're firemen, and they're soldiers, and they're carpenters and electricians, and they're great people. Many of them are just great people.
Many of them are just good people, heroes on both sides.
People.
So, again, as we are wrapping it up, these are many of the big highlights from the CNN town hall. The next video I'm going to be pulling up, it's by Benny Johnson. And I just have to laugh at this. It's quite hilarious. Again, folks, we're having fun tonight. CNN just got embarrassed. You know, think about it. You do this town hall, you think you have it in the bag, and they weren't ready for the firm smack in the mouth and smack up the rear end that Trump was going to give them.
Race. If you are the Republican nominee and you are in that 2024 race, will you commit tonight to accepting the results of the 2024 election?
Yeah, if I think it's an honest election, absolutely. I will.
Will you commit to accepting the results of the election regardless of the outcome?
You want me to answer it again? If I think it's an honest election, I would be honored to. And right now, we are so far ahead of both Democrat and Republican.
I'm going to acknowledge somebody in the live stream chat. Shout out to Daniel Lupker. This town hall showcases everything we say about mainstream media failures. And the thing is, Daniel and I, way early on in the Hardlands media, especially during the 2020 general election, we said that this could happen and that Trump was going to be running again. You would not believe the amount of pushback and insults Daniel and I got from a lot of people we respect in regards to who Donald Trump is and how incompetent corporate media is and how lucky Joe Biden was to actually even win the general election. And no, popular vote doesn't count in America. In other democracies, it does. We have a thing called the Electoral College. Electoral College supersedes popular vote. And there's a very good chance Donald Trump can win this. I will not underestimate Donald Trump. I also want to pull up another person here in the live stream chat. Jamie Teisel says, you can't say she didn't try to push back on him. She's just out of her league. Yes. Yes, she was out of her element. You're out of your element, Kaitlan.
Republican. And you know what? If I don't win, this country is going to be in big trouble. It's so sad to see what's happening.
But no commitment there on the accepting the results regardless of the outcome.
If it's an honest election, correct. I will.
Okay, so not committing to accepting the 2024 election results or acknowledging what happened in 2020. President Trump, I want to thank you for race. If you are
oh my God, so hilarious. But there's one video in particular that I think really stood out. You know, yes, we could talk about the war in Ukraine and how Trump was really on point. He's saying things that you won't hear Democratic or even Republican lawmakers say. He wants the war to stop. He's calling the fact of the failures of the Biden-Harris administration. I have said throughout the entire Biden-Harris administration, since Hardlands Media was reporting on this, we've been saying that there's a lot of political ammunition Trump can use in 2024. There's somebody either coaching Trump or he decided to open a book and really start to get a big brain and ready to counter everything that corporate media and the DNC is going to be throwing at him. There's a lot that he can use to dismantle him. And there's nothing corporate media or Vote Blue, no matter whose sycophants, can do. He's able also, again, to come off confident and strong. CNN was ill-prepared. But one video really stood out to me. And I wish I was mature enough not to laugh, but it's Thursday morning. And so if you're heading to work, you deserve a laugh. Learn about a cat named Vagina.
Speaking of New York, I want to ask you about a significant verdict that was reached yesterday. I know this is something you want to weigh in on as well. Manhattan jury found that you sexually abused the writer E. Jean Carroll and defamed her. You've denied this, but what do you say to voters who say it disqualifies?
You know, you really gotta be impressed with the audience even laughing at this, because again, Donald Trump, that's not going to stop him from running. Everyone was, especially when that ruling happened, they were all saying, oh, yeah, this is it for Trump. The walls are closing in on Trump. No, he builds another floor just to escape the walls closing in. He's climbing up. He's climbing up. He's always going to be dodging and weaving.
Qualifies you from being president?
Well, there aren't too many of them because my poll numbers just came out. They went up. Okay. I think I'm the only person in history who had a charge like that. And usually you leave office. You say, I'm sorry, but I'm going back home. I'm back home to my family and everything. I'm going to be resigning. My poll numbers went up, and they went up with the other fake charge too. because what's happening is they're doing this for election interference. This woman, I don't know her. I never met her. I have no idea who she is. I had a picture taken years ago with her and her husband, nice guy, John Johnson. He was a newscaster, very nice man. She called him an ape.
What comes next caught me off guard. I had to call up Daniel. I had to talk to a few friends. Just what was said. These few seconds. And I just knew Donald Trump's back, baby. He's back with a vengeance and zero filter.
Happens to be African American. Called him an ape. The judge wouldn't allow us to put that in. Her dog or her cat was named Vagina. The judge wouldn't allow to put that in. All
I can see AOC crying. What did he say on CNN? There's a cat named Vagina? Hey, he's just only repeating something that was told to him. And you know what? Trump is a liar, right? Here and there. But sometimes this boy tells the truth. And I believe him. I believe him for this story. I believe him. I'm going to take a gambit and say, I believe this man. I believe him.
her dog or her cat was named Vagina. The judge wouldn't allow to put that in. All of these things, but with her, they can put in anything. Access
This
Hollywood.
was a jury of 9 people who found you liable of sexual abuse. Do you think that will deter women from voting for you?
Trump got a lot of women voters. He got a lot of women voters supporting him in 2016 and in 2020. That's not going to deter him. No, that ain't going to do it. No, CN. Kaitlan. Sit down. You're out of your element. What's the big takeaway from the highlights and the videos that I played of Donald Trump's town hall? Corporate media is inadequate. Corporate media is not journalism. The people you see on CNN, ABC, CBS, CNN, Fox News, New York Times, they're unprofessional. They're owned by corporations. They're not designed to tell you the news. They're designed to give you propaganda from the two-party neoliberal establishment system. And yes, there's a very good chance that Donald Trump can win this election. I am not going to underestimate him. From this CNN town hall performance, he could very well knock out a home run. He could do it. Biden and Harris are ill-prepared. 2024 is going to be one hell of an election cycle. But there's another takeaway, too. Clearly, the moderator was ill-prepared. CNN was ill-prepared. So many people in the liberal circles were ill-prepared, but they thought they had Trump in a trap. But there's one thing you never do with somebody like Donald Trump, and that is you think you have him. You think you got him. But the answer is no. You never put Trump in a trap. That's the last thing you do, my lovelies. That's the last thing you ever do.